Hello, I'm Josh George. I'll be talking about 2018 college football in the SEC. We're going to start with Vanderbilt. I don't think Derek Mason has the talent and the matchups to compete in the SEC this season. I have Vanderbilt 2-10. Then to Tennessee. Now, Jerry Pruitt, he's got a lot on his plate and not a lot to work with. Once again, Tennessee, they open up with West Virginia. I think that will show how the rest of their season goes. I have Tennessee 5-7. Then to Missouri, the most inconsistent team in the SEC last season. They lost 5 of their first 6 and won 6 of their last 7. I think they'll be inconsistent again. I think Locke's a great quarterback, but also inconsistent. 6-6 this season for Missouri. Then to Kentucky. Mark Stoops is a great coach there. I think they have good talent and a good Kentucky team. I think they might pull some upsets this year. Certainly enough to go 6-6 for the Kentucky Wildcats. Then South Carolina, Will Muschamp. I think that defense is the most improved defense in the SEC East this season, and I think he can skyrocket that team. They've been steadily improving, and they don't have to play LSU, Auburn, Mississippi State, or Alabama this year. They played Georgia in their second game. I think that's the game, even with a loss there and a come to Jesus meeting, that leads South Carolina to 9-3. Then to the most improved team in the SEC, maybe even in the nation. That would be the Florida Gators. They only had 4 wins last season, but this year they returned 10 offensive starters, and I think they'll have the best offense in the SEC. And I think they can score points, and that will lead them to win a lot more games this season. I have the Florida Gators 9-3. Then, moving on to Georgia. We all know that Fromm returns, and they have national championship talent. They were who knows how many plays away from winning the national championship last season. Barely lost in overtime. With that being said, they do play in one of the toughest, if not the toughest conference in the nation, and the grind of the SEC will lead Georgia to lose 1 game. I have them 11-1 going into the conference championship game. Now, to the West. We're going to start with an Ole Miss team that had 3 conference wins last year. 2 of them were kind of lucky and super close. The one to Mississippi State and to Kentucky. That is why I don't think they'll do as good as they did last year, barely making it to 6-6. I have Ole Miss 5-7. Then to Arkansas. Arkansas has one of the easiest non-conferences in the nation. That should lead 4 wins in the non-conference. That means to get bowl eligible, they have to win 2 in SEC play. I think they can do that. I have Arkansas 6-6 this season. Then Texas A&M. They won the lottery as far as new coaches. I think Jimbo Fisher is a great coach, but he's already said he might not start Mond at quarterback. And he's brought in new defensive coordinator Mike Elko, and he's completely restructuring the Aggies' defense. In this time of rebuilding, I think Texas A&M will struggle this season. I have Texas A&M 7-5. Then to LSU. They start out against Miami in the non-conference in a very, very tough game. And frankly, a team that doesn't have the talent of some of the SEC LSU teams of old and some of the other SEC teams around them. I have LSU 8-4. Then Mississippi State. They return 9 starters on offense. They return 7 starters on defense. I think they may be one of the surprise teams in the SEC this season. Also, Nick Fitzgerald will be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC this season. Certainly one of the best returning starters this season. And after only having 4 losses last year, I have Mississippi State 9-3 this season. Then to Auburn with Jared Stidham returning and Gus Malzahn. A great coach, but he struggled in November. I think he'll struggle again in November, losing to Georgia and Alabama. That's why I have Auburn 10-2 at the end of this season. Then to the University of Alabama. Now, their biggest hole this season is only having 3 defensive starters return and having a freshman punter and kicker, and Nick Saban knows how important special teams is. But they are Alabama, so I have them 12-1, winning the SEC this season, and that'll make Georgia's record at the end of the regular season 11-2. I am Josh George. This is SEC College Football.